Jordan Poole might be done, man.
And everything that can go wrong does. That's been Jordan Poole's vibe for the entire season. From cringeworthy moments on the court, to 0-point games, to statistics so dismal they'd make anyone, yes, even your granny, throw a fit. The pool party has become more of a pothole party. Entering the first year of his $128 million contract, the fifth-year guard is...
Like, bro, he was like, and Golden State nigga was so hard, bro. But now, it's like, nigga was from sugar to shit.
Exceeded every expectation placed on him this season, just not in the way anyone had hoped. I mean, as of today, he's been in a slump so deep that I don't even know if it's proper to call it a slump anymore. It pains me to say this, but judging from what I've seen, I don't think Jordan Poole can recover from this. There's two major sources we can use to determine how good or how bad a certain player is. One is the numbers test, and the other is the eye test. Sometimes a player could do really well in one test but score horribly in the other, and sometimes it's vice versa. Take D'Angelo Russell, for example. And as this fan put it, in that 2019 series against Philly, he played such a smooth, effortless style of basketball that passed the eye test, but when it came to the numbers test, he failed completely by shooting 36% for the series with a 44.6 true shooting percentage. The vice versa of this would be Nicolas Batum. For much of his career, and especially when he was with the Clippers, he was an outstanding numbers guy, shooting north of 40% from beyond the arc, mid-40s from the field, and about 80%
I forgot about Batum, what?
the line. When you watch him play, however, you might notice that he looks a bit awkward. Now, shifting gears to Jordan Poole, my skepticism about his ability to recover from his current predicament is because he's failing both tests. Let's first dive into the numbers for a moment. Here's a comprehensive list of NBA players in the league who've hit the necessary requirements needed to be on this list, which takes into account games played, minutes played, etc., etc. Well, when I sort it by effective field goal percentage, a critical metric for determining how good a player is, or how bad in this case, Jordan Poole unfortunately finds himself languishing at the absolute bottom of this list.
Ain't no way, boy.
To put into perspective how bad this situation is, translating this into more traditional shooting figures, we're looking at Poole shooting just 40% from the field and a mere 30% from three-point land. For those wondering what counts as decent,
he taking high percentage shots. He knows like what to do. It's like he's just not going in.
Shooting over 50% from the field is pretty solid, while around 45% is average. And frankly, shooting 40% is like you're flirting with being cut from the league. And as far as 30% from three-point range, that's about what Giannis shoots. And let's be real, defenses practically send him an invite to shoot from downtown. But here's the kicker. Jordan Poole isn't just any player. He's a volume shooter. As one of Washington's primary options for scoring, he's taking 14 shot attempts per game, and yet not once has he scored over 30 points so far this season. Honestly, we all thought he'd be bad this season, but nobody saw him plummeting this far. I mean, like this Lakers fan recently commented, "I owe Jordan Poole an apology. I thought he'd average 25 on 25 shots per game this year, but turns out he's even more bad than I thought." 15 points is what we expect a fourth option to score on a team, not a second option. So, by all accounts, Jordan Poole has failed every numbers test there possibly is. Next, let's move on to the eye test. So, here's Jordan Poole up top with the ball in hand. In the fourth quarter, with the Wizards trailing by 4 with 30 seconds left on the clock, it's do or die time. But what does Poole do?
Jordan Poole, oh my gosh, that's a carry! Yep, and it will. Oh my gosh! He didn't switch hands. It wasn't a crossover. It was a carry.
You know, I'm not a big one for a carry call. Look at this one.
That was blatant.
Ain't no way, boy.
Yeah, guys, this has pretty much been the tail of the tape when it comes.
I feel bad for Jordan Poole though, because like, how do you go from
to Jordan Poole in Washington, and I'm not exaggerating one bit. Things like this don't happen in every game, obviously, but I'm serious when I say that every time I'm online scouring for fresh video ideas, I stumble upon new lowlights of Poole, like this here, for example. In this particular play, Poole takes on Drew Holiday, trying to back him down in the post not once, but twice, and botches both attempts. Then, in a scramble to save face and the ball, he ends up throwing a grenade to Kuzma, who airballs it. Like I said, I didn't want to make another Poole video, but every time I'm on the internet searching for video ideas, bam, Poole does something else. And you know what? By just barely digging in and doing the bare minimum of research, I quickly find even more content
Man, ain't no way man just slip and fell, bro.
which backs up the narrative. Like, look at how he plays defense on De'Aaron Fox here. It's like he just throws his hands up and gives Fox the green light to blow past him as if it's just practice. Honestly, this might just take the cake for the laziest defense I've witnessed all year. And no kidding this time, guys. About 2 weeks ago, I was diving into a highlight reel of the Wizards versus Cleveland game. I was there for one reason, to see Jordan Poole in action. But after watching a 10-minute video, not a single highlight featured Poole. And I'm sitting there puzzled thinking, what's the deal here? Naturally, I did what any self-respecting basketball fanatic would do. I headed over to ESPN.com to sift through the box score.
I think it's 90-41, bro. Yeah, dang, bro.
Because let's face it, it's just easier to navigate around than NBA.com. And that's when it hit me. The reason Poole was MIA from the highlight reel? He didn't put up a single point that game. Yeah, you heard me, guys. The supposed second option on the Wizards in a recent showdown against Cleveland scored a grand total of 0 points. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Now, if Poole was a bench warmer or was a relatively unknown player, we might give him a pass, but nope. This is the dude raking in $27 million this year for this performance. So, the real head scratcher here is, why is this happening? Rewind just a few seasons back, and this guy was hitting playoff stats like 50% from the field, 40% from three, and 90% from the free throw line. We're talking about a guy once dubbed the third Splash Brother, the one Steph Curry himself said was next in line for the Golden State throne. How do you go from being handed the keys to the kingdom to becoming the punchline of the league? Well, there's a couple theories. Some people might blame it on Draymond's infamous practice incident. Others,
dang, like that was still that's still to this day the craziest thing I've ever seen in the NBA, bro. Ain't no way they man just stood them in like that. He ain't even hit them in back.
To argue defenses have figured him out, claiming he was never really top tier. But if you're asking me, it feels like he's walking down a path similar to Ja Morant's, a case of the alligators got him. What that metaphorically means is that the superstar lifestyle with all the trappings of fame and fortune got to him. Many Warriors fans are of the same opinion, like this fan here who commented, "I've said it many times, winning a title in year 2 and having some strong playoff games broke his brain. He convinced himself that he's Steph Curry, and this is what it looks like when a guy has Steph's confidence with less than half of his skill." And then there's this spot-on comment. Every time Poole touches the ball, you can tell how badly he wants it to be a highlight for Instagram. And it's true. I mean, he even tried Steph Curry's no-look 3 at one point, which turned into another low light for him.
Doing that mid-game is insane, bro.
Anyway, with a contract north of $100 million and with a ring already on his finger, honestly, I don't think Jordan Poole can really recover from this. It's like how Zion can't stop eating in New Orleans, or like how Ben Simmons can't be bothered to strive for greatness. Jordan Poole is now in a tricky position where it's hard for him to be great. In Golden State, it was easy because he was always around legends like Curry and Thompson, who were more than just teammates. They were mentors, eager to lift him up. But in Washington, it's a whole different ball game. They've been one of the worst organizations in the league for the better part of the last decade. And let's face it, it's tough to find motivation in an environment that doesn't really care about winning. When there's no championship aspirations, it's hard to wake up at 4 a.m. and go to practice. Which then begs the question,
The Wizards even went to the finals before? I don't know.
what's next on the horizon for Jordan Poole? Well, the harsh reality is, NBA history isn't short of stories about players who vanished into thin air post-signing those big, fat, lucrative contracts. Chandler Parsons, for example, inked a 4-year, $94 million contract back with the Grizzlies in 2016. But because of injuries and, well, a bit too much partying, he played out most of his contract on the bench before eventually drifting away from the NBA. Then there's Luol Deng, who signed a 4-year, $72 million contract.
I forgot about Luol Deng, bro. How could I forget about this nigga right now?
The Lakers the same year, but when Magic Johnson became president of basketball operations, he was keen on developing Brandon Ingram, and as a result, Deng found himself warming the bench for the majority of his contract. At this point, it seems that Jordan Poole might be treading on a similar path. I mean, when the Washington Wizards don't see you as part of their future plans, where else is there to go? With $100 million in the bank, I'm sure he won't want to go play in China, where he'll be paid like 5% of his current salary. Then, with all the fame he's had earlier in his career and the pride he has, I'm not sure if he'd be willing to come off the bench for non-championship contending teams. But whatever the case is, here's something hilarious that happened recently. For those who think it all went downhill for Poole following that infamous spat with Draymond, where he supposedly called him an expensive backpack for Curry, here's a twist. Brandon Podziemski recently gave Draymond a piece of his mind during a scrimmage, and Draymond took it well. The internet had a field day with this, with fans commenting, "Jordan Poole cannot believe what he's reading."
Well, crazy, man. You know, like, Jordan Poole may be over with, bro. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about Jordan Poole, man. I feel like Jordan Poole, he kind of like stepping out of his element now. Like, he got to go back to Jordan, like the old Jordan Poole, before he was famous, before everybody started knowing him. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But hopefully I like the video, man. Damn, boy.